Alright guys, welcome to another day of the Briggs build here. So I've been going back and forth and debating with myself whether or not I want to put the engine on this bike first or if I want to get it being a functional chassis first, because technically I could use the engine as a stress member to stiffen it, which I probably will, but I think I don't want to necessarily rely on that, and I want to make sure the ergonomics of the bike just fit me. So that's kind of today's task, is finishing up the bike. So I'll flip the camera around and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the bike as we last saw it. So turns out front tire tube does not hold any air. So I'm going to go through the parts attic and find a new tube, see if we can get that to hold air. And then also these bearings in the steering, they are really dry and stiff. Like, here, I'll show you. I can turn it and walk away and it doesn't center. So, yeah. And those didn't even move at all when I took this out of the attic. So I'm also going to be servicing the bearings here and here. And then I am going to have to figure out a way to get either these handlebars or some other handlebars up on there, because, oops, I took the stem off this bike for something else at some other point in time. So we're going to try find one of those and maybe assemble the crank down here just for the time being. I at least want to be able to sit on this and see how it feels, and ideally riding it would be a good idea. And then we'll be moving on over to the engine side of things eventually. Alright, back in the attic. Oh, this is actually really cool. I found this in, oops, covering up the camera. I found this in one of my old cars. It's Briggs pipe mixture. I think I might have to, like, cut this up and glue it onto the fuel tank. Anyway, moving on. Let's find a tube first. Alright. And we get to play the game. Oh, man, sketchy walking over that. We get to play the game of, is this tube any good? There's some air in it. I don't know if that's going to be worth a damn on the bike, but, you know, trying to figure out what this came off of. I don't even remember. Anyway, we'll throw it on since it's loose and out of a tire. Save that. There's the old kickstand. Yeah, okay, we got the rear wheel from the two-stroke build that I could not salvage. So where is that stem? I wonder if this... Oh! Ow! Oh! Yeah, that was right on the spine. Ouch. I wonder if this little girl's bike that we cut up, I wonder if this stem is close enough. I think I have to get the calipers in check here, because, oh wait, that's welded right to the handlebars. Never mind, that's not going to work. I need one that clamps so I can change the position of the handlebars. I just can't remember why I took it off. What did I part it out for? Was it... Couldn't have been that bike. Whoa, that's grainy. Nope, because that one's black, and we're looking for a chrome one. Well, it looks like I have some digging to do, but we'll see what I can find. Okay, so, this bike in the corner that I often forget about. We have a stem that is within a millimeter or two. That is really close. This should work. And I think I can even turn this around backwards, so that'll help me reach the handlebars better. Being that oh, actually, with that huge rake, that would be more forwards. I might put it forwards. Anyway, I think that'll be advantageous, having it stick out like that. And then I need to find one of those bolts that hold it in. And I was just looking, and there's one. And then I was looking some more. And there's one. And there's the little wedge thing that goes with. So I'm pretty sure I disassembled that bike right here, the one we're working on. Because there's the hardware that it came with. So anyway, let's go ahead and get these parts on. Alright, so this stem was missing that little cap that goes at the top. So I was looking around for things that fit, and this loose axle nut actually just kind of fits on there perfectly. And then this guy just kind of fits right there. You see it rotates just fine on there. So yeah, that's what we're going to use. And then right at the bottom there, we have the wedge that clamps up onto it. This one's a little long. I might use the other bolt, but anyway, that's the plan. So, oh, and then I have to take this handlebar off of it and put that one on, but anyway, first things first, I'll get that tire taken care of and the bearings. Alright, we got the new tube in, and it appears to be holding pressure. I guess we won't really know how well until tomorrow. But yeah, next thing is the bearings. Alright, it's a new day today, and it's actually 2 days later, and our tire is still holding air just fine, so that is awesome. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get started on disassembling this stem and fork. Alright, I got it apart. And this is interesting. Looks like all the smoke from the welding went into that front tube. It's all that powder there. Yeah. So I'll clean that off. And the extra heat from the welding did do one thing, though. And it freed up the bearings a little bit, because these were super duper stuck. And yeah, they actually aren't that bad. I was expecting to see a lot more rust on them, given how stuck they were to begin with. But I'm just going to go ahead and clean these up with some solvent, and then re-grease them with some lithium bearing grease. Well, it took a lot of scrubbing, but we finally have clean bearings that are ready for some new grease, and everything the bearings touch is also clean, and even in there. So now I'm gonna grease it and put everything back together. Alright, everything is back together and greased. The wheel moves very easily. You can actually spin it around and do 360s. It works perfectly. I might have this a little bit tight because there is no play in there at all, and it sounds a tad dry, although there is tons of grease. But for the purposes of testing the chassis, that's okay if that's a little tight. So on to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and put in the stem and the handlebars. Okay, so it turns out that the shit don't fit. There's a little ridge inside that nut there, and the handlebar, or the stem, this part, and then also the clamp for the stem does not fit through there. But it fits this way, and I guess I should double check before I cut anything, make sure it fits in the stem. Ooh. Okay, so this tube doesn't fit inside the fork either. You can see there. Yeah, no bueno. We are really close to making it fit, but I don't know if we want to play that game or if we want to just find another one of these. I don't know, I gotta think. See what happens here. Okay, so we're only 0.2 of a millimeter from that stem fitting in this fork. And I think it's probably because of how rusty that is inside. So I'm going to go ahead and wire brush or sanding drum or something inside of there. And I think I'm going to try to take the paint off of this on the bench grinder over there, just to get us that extra, little bit that we need. Less than a millimeter. Very, very small. So if that still doesn't work, I mean, maybe I'll notch this the long way so it can pinch down. But I don't think we'll have to go that far, but we'll see. Okay, so this is cleaned out about as good as we can get it with a wire brush, which isn't great, but it's what I got. This is dremeled out, the edge is gone. And this is ground down. And this has a relief line cut into it. So hopefully I can get this shit to fit. Alright, after a little bit of persuading with the 2-pound sledgehammer, I got this stem to finally fit, and didn't break any welds, so that's good. So we got the handlebars on, we got a little seat on for a test ride, and it's looking pretty sick if I say so myself. So yeah, I guess the only thing left to do is to go push it around and see how it feels. Okay, so I just gave you guys a little sample there because riding this bike, it's definitely a two-hander situation. But yeah, I actually rode this up and down the street and the frame is super solid. I was expecting this to be a lot flimsier, kind of like that restoration of Sweet Potato. That bike was stretched, well, quite a bit more than this and had a longer fork, but it was a similar style anyway, and that one just felt really funky to be on at any speed. And this one, aside from wheel bearings needing to be redone in the front and having a super bent rear rim, this actually rode just fine. Like, there were many times I just put both feet on this part of the frame where it says Fisher Price and jumped up and down and stood on it, and you can totally ride this like a push scooter. It is completely stable in that respect, but there is one flaw that just goes with the large rake. Whenever you're steering, it does that. So there's so much rake on the front end that it just wants to default to the left or default to the right. And when you do that, your ass goes the opposite way of the handlebars. So here, look at the two frame bars when I turn. That's what they do. So it actually kind of teeters the bike, more actually pivots from left to right, because our stem here has a whole lot of caster. So we're actually turning a little bit on the different planes. So instead of just turning on the x-axis, we are turning on the x and y-axis. So that's a little funky. That's going to take some getting used to, but there's nothing that can be done about that that would not ruin the look of the bike. So as it sits, I'm actually super comfortable with it. I have to figure out a kickstand or handlebar leaning situation because it doesn't want to stay up at all. But yeah, just as it sits now, I'm perfectly happy with the ergonomics of it and where my feet land and like how stable it is. I mean, there's some things that need to happen in regards to, truing these wheels and doing axle bearings and whatnot, and maybe different shape handlebars. But this is solid, guys. I don't have to like redesign everything or put a whole bunch of gussets or cross pipes. Like, anything I do is to stiffen this up is just above and beyond at this point. It is super rock solid. Alright, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you aren't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe if you want to see more of this. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you'll get notified every time I publish a video, and about every other one lately has been this bike here. So yeah, if you like what you see, I'll see you guys next time.